Excellencies, Vice President of the Chamber, my colleague committee member, Sumit Sharma, the team from South African Consulate, Ethiopian Consulate, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskar and a very good afternoon to all of you. I, on behalf of the Chamber and on my personal behalf, welcome all of you at this August gathering, the webinar on business opportunity in Ethiopia and South Africa. First of all, on behalf of the Chamber, I'm highly thankful to each one of you for the overwhelming response given to us for these Africa Connect web series. I'm proud to inform you that we have 358 registration today. And this kind of strong feedback I received is really marvelous. Any organizer sets some goals while doing any projects, and if those goals are achieved 100%, then there is a sigh of relief. And that shows that one has done some value added input, something different than what others are doing. Today we have come to you with such one of the wonderful, excellent project. The subject is business opportunity in Ethiopia and South Africa. Two strong countries, one is from East Africa, one is from Southern Africa. We have two distinguished speakers, His Excellency, the Consulate General of Ethiopia, Her Excellency, Consulate General of South Africa. We are going to show you the video thereafter on respective countries, which shows the opportunity exists in those countries. Ethiopia has been called the land of 1,000 miles. Ethiopia today is a diplomatic hub of Africa. It is a mosaic of people, more than 80 languages, different lifestyles, culture, food, and dances. Coffee is the main produce. They are the largest export item from Ethiopia and highest earner. Nearly 40% of Ethiopia's forex earns, and they play an important role in the international market. Ethiopia and India's relation is very cordial and have existed for almost 2 millennia. Today, the trade between the two countries have already crossed 1.40 billion, and the concessional credit is given to the tune of $1 billion. There are about 540 Indian companies have licensed investment in Ethiopia, and over $4 billion investment have been done by them. They are engaged in agriculture sector, they engaged in engineering sector, plastics, floriculture, and there exist about 4,000 to 5,000 Indian diaspora in Ethiopia. There exists ample opportunity in Ethiopia for Indian business community. The speaker, the eminent speaker, His Excellency the Consul General, is going to take you inside of Ethiopia. The Chamber has the privilege to host its then Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. Hel Mariam in Mumbai, and the Secretariat has the opportunity to lead more than 15 business delegations to Ethiopia. I must mention here that the first Honorary Council of Ethiopia in Mumbai, we have the honor to host that for 5 years. Our chairman, then chairman, Mr. Y.P. Trivedi, was the first Honorary Council of Ethiopia in Mumbai. About the eminent speaker today, His Excellency Demeke Ambolu, the Consul General of Ethiopia in Mumbai, a very popular figure, a very dynamic personality. He has served as a diplomat for about 25 years in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Government of Ethiopia. He has also served as Director General for Diaspora Affairs in the Ministry. He worked as Head of Office Capacity Building in the Ministry. He had served as Minister Counselor in Embassy of Ethiopia in UK and USA, Washington, D.C. He had the privilege to be in Delhi, Ethiopian Embassy as political and commercial counselor, has now been posted as Consul General in Mumbai. The Chamber led business delegation to Ethiopia last year under his dynamic leadership and guidance, and which was a very, very successful trip. He is one of the very dynamic and active diplomat. He has till date participated more than 24 events hosted by the Chamber. Of course, he has attended the rest also, but I'm only concerned about my Chamber. And he has been instrumental in mobilizing the delegation from Ethiopia on many occasions, as and when the Chamber has done various events. We know that COVID-19 has changed our lives. We are all lost in the shadow of disappointment and nervousness. Some of us are lacking directions and are panicked. In this atmosphere, the Chamber has put an attempt to divert the attention of the entire business community towards doing business with Africa web series, and has been doing it successfully with the blessings of all of you. While doing that, we also remembered the mantra given by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji for digitization. And following those directions, it is my profound privilege to inform you that today, at this occasion, we are launching the first digital supplement on Ethiopia and South Africa by the hands of these two dignitaries. This supplement will cover the business aspect, the current scenario, and the scope business opportunity for Indians. I'm sure that all of you will definitely like the gesture and shower your support, love, and affection to the Chamber's initiative. So now I'm inviting His Excellency Demeke Mbulu to take over the floor. Welcome, Excellency. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. It's really a great honor for me to be associated with Indo-Africa Chamber of Commerce. I would like to extend our heartfelt, thanks and profound appreciation for relentless effort of the Indo-Africa Chamber of Commerce in enhancing and further promoting Indo-Africa trade and investment partnership. As always, Madam, we are also proud of your relentless efforts in trying to bridge India and Africa in both trade, investment, technology transfer, and in all areas of cooperation. So we are always proud of also, we are always appreciative of your depth of knowledge and expertise on African issues. And we are more than happy and more than pleased to be associated again with Indo-Africa Chamber of Commerce. And we look forward in order to enhance further the already excellent relationship existing between your chamber and with Ethiopian chamber for the benefit of both business community of the two countries and that of the two countries. And I look forward for much more enhanced cooperation and partnership with Indo-Africa Chamber of Commerce.
So with your permission, can I just show the video first, if you allow me, Excellency?
Yes, it's my pleasure.
A unique country, modest with its exquisite terrain, pristine lakes and falls, as humble as any place where a heroic soul belongs, steeped in ancient history and known proudly as the cradle of humankind, the coffee capital of the world, Ethiopia is gloriously flourishing, peaking in momentum towards economic, political, and social transformation and looking forward to a prosperous future. Ethiopia, a new horizon of hope. The country is moving with speed, breaking walls of division and building new bridges of unity. It is one of the few countries in Africa where women take half of the cabinet seat. Ethiopia has a first female head of state and a female president of the judiciary, and has made significant transformation leaps in foreign policy. Building on the sweeping political reforms that he unleashed, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed announced that the partial privatization of state-owned enterprises in energy, telecom, logistics, and aviation sectors represents the fundamental opening of the Ethiopian economy. Ethiopia is leading a new frontier of effective regional integration of the entire continent. The economy has enjoyed double-digit growth over the past decade, asserting itself as one of the world's fastest-growing economies. As the second-largest recipient of foreign direct investment in Africa, Ethiopia has attracted many global brands, highlighting the competitive investment opportunity that it yields. With a crystal vision for 2025, Ethiopia aims to be the leading manufacturing hub in Africa and a preferred destination for foreign direct investment. So why invest? We are a young and productive age group that accounts for 60% of the population of 105 million people, trainable and available at competitive wages. With duty-free and quota-free access to major export destinations, including US and EU markets, a signatory to the African Continental Free Trade Area that unlocks the market potential of $1.2 billion. We are strategically located with proximity to the Middle East, Europe, US, and Asia, offering a wide-ranging incentive package for priority sectors and export-oriented investments. The newly built Addis-Djibouti electric-powered railway connects the capital and other economic corridors to the port of Djibouti. Africa's world-class and Star Alliance member, Ethiopian Airlines, flying to over 100 international destinations and 40-plus dedicated cargo destinations. There is huge investment potential in renewable energy, including hydro, wind, and geothermal. We now have expansive road networks connecting national and regional markets and state-of-the-art industrial parks, both public and privately owned, offering impressive benefits. Ethiopia's policy reforms spearheads industrialization through investment in these sectors: textile and apparel, leather and leather products, agro-processing, horticulture, pharmaceuticals, ICT and electronics, tourism, and energy. As the land of origin rises, with courage and honor, it calls on the world to come and seize the vast investment opportunities. Ethiopia is now open for business.
Thank you very much again, and I'm really excited and very much pleased to be now for Indo-Africa Chamber of Commerce for organizing this important and timely befitting webinar when the whole everything is locked down. So as you have mentioned already about Ethiopia on the preference and what had been shown by the video, I would like to make my presentation especially focusing first why Ethiopia, reason why to do business in Ethiopia and the reason why to invest in Ethiopia. I would like to argue what Ethiopia offers, the best offer to do business and to do investment in Ethiopia, and I'll try to catch upon mainly on Indo-Ethiopian trade and investment relationship. As you have already seen in the video, Ethiopia is one of the oldest independent country in Africa with ancient civilization dates back to 3,000 years. Ethiopia is a country never colonized in Africa, and Ethiopia is located at a crossroad between Middle East, Asia, and Africa. Area-wise, it is large in size, 1.15 million square kilometers, out of which more than half is Arab land. Ethiopia had also the second largest population in Africa. Why we call Ethiopia as a land of origin? Before going to do business, before going to invest, people should know that Ethiopia is being branded as a land of origin. I would like to touch upon two reasons. Number one, Ethiopia is origin of humankind. The earliest remains of human ancestors date back to 3.5 million years is discovered or founded in Ethiopia. If anyone had counted down his ancestors, at the end, everybody is founded in Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is the ancestral homeland of all human beings. So when you are thinking about going to Ethiopia to do business and invest, think that you are going to your ancestral homeland. So think it is not a strange country, it's not a foreign country, it is ancestral homeland of all countries. That is why. Second, Ethiopia is in 9th century in the region called Kaffa in southwest. Coffee has derived its name from the place where it is originated, now in Kaffa. Coffee is not an Arabic word, it's not an English, it denotes the name where it was derived in Ethiopia, Kaffa. So coffee discovered in Ethiopia in 9th century, it went to the Middle East in 16th, coffee came to India, South India in 17th century, and went to Central and Southern America in 19th century. So coffee is an Ethiopian gift to the world. So that is why we call Ethiopia land of origin is origin of coffee, origin of human being. So when you are thinking about going to Ethiopia, drinking coffee, think that its origin in Ethiopia. Think that if you go to Ethiopia, you can drink the most favorite Ethiopian coffee. Come and do, visit Ethiopia, your ancestral homeland, to do business and to drink the most fabulous coffee. Now, why Ethiopia? The first reason is the commitment of the government. We have a multi-party system. We are democratic. The government is being elected every 5 years. But existing government is much more committed for peace and stability. Not only to maintain and sustain peace and stability in Ethiopia, but the government was working hard to bring peace and stability in the neighboring countries, Somalia, Sudan, the Horn of Africa region. Because of this, we have a border conflict with Eritrea for more than 2 decades. Now, the existing Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, our Prime Minister, who came to power 2 years back, the first measure he took was he took a number of bold political and economic reforms, and he bring in peace between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Not only bringing peace between Ethiopia and Eritrea, he has contributed significantly to bring peace in Sudan and contributing to bring peace in stability in Somalia. That is why he won the 2019 Nobel Peace Prize. So the most important, the first thing for anyone to do business in any country is peace and stability. So Ethiopia is a more stable, a more peaceful country with a committed government. The first reason is peace and stability. You cannot do business in a country where there is no peace and stability. So we have a government committed for peace and stability. The second reason why to do business in Ethiopia invest is the growing economy. Every country has economy, but the most important for a country was a growing economy. Ethiopian economy had registered double-digit growth since 2005 for the last 15 years. Constantly growing double-digit economy is a growing economy. Even during the COVID, as per the recent report released by IMF, more than 170 countries are going to register negative growth. But the IMF projected Ethiopia on positive economic growth. We are now expecting to grow GDP growth of 6% while we are still in COVID. So the second reason why to do business in Ethiopia, why to invest, first is peace stability important, second, the growing economy. The third reason is market. Ethiopia is the second largest market in Africa with more than 150 million population. So to do business, to invest, you need the market. We have the second largest domestic market in Africa, 150 million. Not only the largest market, we are the ever-growing middle-income class because our economy is growing continuously for the last 15, 16 years. The income of the people is growing up, and we have also the growing middle-income class. So the first, the second, the third reason is the ever-growing, the second largest market in Africa. Not only the market in Africa, we are also the COMESA, Common Market for Southern and Eastern Africa, which consists of 12 countries with a population of more than 500 million. African market, and the most important is market access to the American and European countries. Under African Growth and Opportunity Act, Ethiopia is entitled to have no quota and no tax market access to the American market. So if you produce in Ethiopia, you can sell to the American market with no quota and with no tax. This is true for the European countries as well, except the arms. So the third reason why to do business in Ethiopia is because of the market, domestic market, with wider access to the regional, to the American, and to the European market. The fourth reason is the low cost of production cost. We have a very young and easily trainable population. Out of 150 million population, more than 70% are below 30 years. So we are very young, dynamic, abundant labor force. The labor cost in Ethiopia ranges between 40 USA dollar to 100 USA dollar per month. It is one of the most competitive wage, which is half that of Kenya and Uganda, the labor cost. So the labor cost is one of the competitive. The labor cost wage is one of the most competitive, and the labor cost is half of that of Kenya and Uganda. This is also another reason why we are encouraging people to come and do business in Ethiopia and to invest in Ethiopia. The fifth reason is the electricity and the water rate. The electricity rate in Ethiopia is 3 cents per kilowatt, which is one of the cheapest in Africa and in the world. It is 1/4 of the rate of Kenya and Uganda. It is one of the cheapest. And the monthly water tariff is 8 cents per metric cube, which is also one of the cheapest in the world. So when you see the competitive wage, the labor cost is very cheap, electricity rate is very cheap, water tariff is one of the cheapest also, not only in Africa, that of the world. This is also another reason why we are encouraging people come to do Ethiopia business in Ethiopia and come and invest in Ethiopia as well. The sixth reason why we are encouraging people was land. Land in Ethiopia is a public property. You can lease land for up to 99 years at a very competitive, at normal rates. And the most important thing for those who wants to invest in Ethiopia investment, the government has built more than 10 industrial parks using modern art of technology, 10 industrial parks, which are specialized clustered industrial parks. For example, for textile and garments, there are industrial parks for agro-processing, industrial parks for the construction materials, industrial parks for pharma, and so on. So this is also another reason people should not go here and there searching for land to build industry to start up, investment in Ethiopia, because the government has built up the industrial parks which people can easily access. To mention, especially in textile and the garment, in the industrial park, there are 24 Indian textile and garment industries now who set up in the industrial parks and exporting to the European and the American market as well. So land, especially building the industrial park, is another reason why we are encouraging people to come and do business, to come and invest in Ethiopia. The seventh reason is connectivity. Connectivity is very important. Ethiopia is known as not only as a land of origin, but as a gateway to Africa. Why a gateway to Africa? Two reasons. As you know very well, Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia, is the political and diplomatic capital of Africa. That means the African Union, which comprises 54 African countries, its headquarters is based in Ethiopia. you can find all African countries in Ethiopia, in capital, in one place. Rather than going to every country, because there was always African ministerial meeting, health ministers meeting, trade ministers, industry ministers, all African minister meetings being held in Addis headquarters every month. So if you base your business and investment in Africa, you can easily find access to this minister rather than going here and there. So that is why we said Ethiopia as gateway to Africa. Second, Ethiopian Airlines. Ethiopian Airlines is flying to 129 international passengers, destinations, and 40 dedicated cargo destinations. Out of these 129, Ethiopian Airlines is flying to more than 62 African cities. Sometimes Ethiopian Airlines is not only going to the headquarters, but it is to the capital cities. But if you go to South Africa, it is flying to more than 2 countries, to Nigeria, more than 3 cities, to Tanzania, to more than 2 cities. And it is only airlines which was flying to 62 African cities. That means connecting India easily with 62 African cities. Not only that, and the most important is Ethiopian Airlines is flying from 3 destinations from India, from Mumbai twice a day, from New Delhi twice a day. We started flying from Bangalore, connecting southern India with Ethiopia and Africa. And we have got permission, we finished all the preparation to start flying from Chennai on April 3 because of Corona. It is postponed. When this lockdown is now ended up, Ethiopian Airlines is going to start flying the 4th destination from India, that is from Chennai. So connectivity, flying from 4 different cities from India to Ethiopia and Africa is a easily connection. That is why it makes Ethiopia more a gateway to Africa, That is the reason. And when incentives are very important, Ethiopian government is offering a very competitive incentive package on capital goods and constituents, loss carry forward, remittance of profits, and so on. The most competitive incentive packages are being given by the government of Ethiopia, those who are coming to invest in Ethiopia. The most important is agriculture. Ethiopia is an ideal destination for commercial farming. Out of 115 million hectares of land, close to 75 million hectares of land is suitable for agriculture farming. Ethiopia, we have more than 18 major agroecologic zones and more than 26 sub-agroecologic zones. That means Ethiopia is so diverse in agroecologic zones, and we are producing everything because we have diverse topography, diverse agroecologic zones. Horticulture, floriculture, apiculture, cotton, sugarcane, oil, spices, and so on, because Ethiopia is a place for farming. The government of Ethiopia had already made available 3 million hectares of land for investment in agriculture. And I invite my Indian friends, especially business people, to come and make use of this opportunity. Water is not, the soil is very fertile. We have a very long growing seasons, and Ethiopia is known as water tower of Africa. Very rich underground water, surface water, and we have also rainwater. So we are inviting Indians to come and do business, especially in agricultural farming. Out of 600 Indian companies investing in Ethiopia with license, 70% are in agricultural investment in agriculture. They are the Indians who started floriculture in Ethiopia, the pioneers. You know, we are the second exporting cut flower to the European market, the second importing country in Africa, and the fourth in the world. The pioneers are Indians. So we encourage Indians to come and participate in this agricultural investment. Not only agriculture, but agro-processing. Not only producing commercial farming, you can process and then you can sell. Huge domestic markets, huge African market. You can export very close. We are very at jumping point to the Middle East. You can export to the European and the American market. You can produce and process and sell. Why we are emphasizing especially on agriculture and agro-processing is since the Green Revolution, India proved, the Indian technology is proved to be appropriate for us, it is affordable for us, and it is adaptable. We are not looking for the European technology, for the other Asian technology when it comes to agriculture and agricultural equipment processing. It is Indians because of the 3 A's: affordability and appropriateness and adaptability. So I encourage Indian brothers to come and the use of this. When Madam, you led the delegation to Ethiopia last time, those who came for one-to-one meeting from the Ethiopian side, more than 25 Ethiopians are looking for agro-processing. So there is a huge emphasis, a huge demand. This agriculture is our top priority, agriculture and agro-processing, and your technology is the most appropriate for us, and we are encouraging Indians to come and do investment and either joint venture and others. The other area which I want to emphasize also, it is mentioned, is manufacturing. Because of many reasons that mentioned, textile and garment. Indians are the second largest investors in Ethiopia in textile and garment. Starting from, the big like Raymond Arvind, we are the small and the medium, small and garment industries as well. Pharmaceuticals is another. Why I'm emphasizing pharmaceuticals? The pharmaceutical market in Ethiopia is close to $1 billion US dollar. It's growing 25 drugs and medicines, but the government rather than exporting, the government has built up industrial parks for those who are exporting to come and easily send to Ethiopia. Chemicals and others had already mentioned, and I encourage them to come and to participate, especially in agro industrial parks, paperwork, and stationery. We are more than 30 million students nowadays in schools. The only country with such huge, you can see the demand for paper products, and stationeries are. So we are encouraging to come and invest in garment, chemical, electronic sectors, and so on. Let me say a few things about its dynamic. It is robust. It has to be, it's not 1.4 billion. It should be more than that, given, the long-standing relationship existing between Ethiopia and India. Given, the connection between Ethiopia and India. Ethiopian Airlines fly from 4 destinations from India. It should be triple than this. I encourage Indians to import, to participate in this business relationship as well. Well, we have more than 20 bilateral agreements, out of which trade agreement. We have trade agreement with India. We have signed a bilateral investment protection agreement. There are more. Indians are the third largest investors. Now I have the coming data which says they are going to be the second largest investors in Ethiopia. More than 600 Indians, more than $5 billion US dollar. 65% are in manufacturing, 70% are in agriculture, the others are in consultancies. So why Indians are coming in this way for investment? Because of peace and stability. Because of the large markets, the growing economy, the commitment of the government, the production cost. The labor cost is one of the cheapest. Electricity rate, water rate is one of the cheapest. Land is not private, it is a public property. You can lease land at a very nominal. The government is encouraging people to come and invest, not to sell land. So because of the production cost is low, you can the profit maximization is high, the profit margin. So we again encourage Indians, given very closeness between the cultural, historical, economic, political cooperation existing between the two countries since long time, again we encourage them to further expand their investment in different sectors, especially in priority sectors, as I mentioned, in agriculture, agro-processing, and in pharma sectors. And with this, I think I would like to wrap up my presentation, and I'm more than happy, always ready. If you can email to me, or if you have any questions, you can send to the madam, so that we are daily working together, exchanging information. And we're more than happy to support and assist you. And
participants, members, those who are interested in promoting their business with Ethiopia. And thank you, Excellency.
I'm particularly honored to launch the first digital supplement on Ethiopia. And again, thank you, Madam, your team, for your relentless effort, again, promoting Ethiopia and India, Africa, and India as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Excellency. We have Her Excellency, Madam Andrea, the Consul General of South Africa in Mumbai. Welcome you, Madam. We just finished with Ethiopia, and it is indeed our profound privilege to welcome you here, ma'am. India's relationship with South Africa is both fundamental and unique, dating back several centuries, and is anchored in common ideas, interests, and icons like Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela. India and South Africa shared common experiences and collective strength, which have shaped how the both view the world together. As two nations who have shared their struggle of freedom, the responsibility to improve the lives of others is embedded with India and South Africa's consciousness. The 20th anniversary of signing of the declaration was commemorated in the month of May in 2017, where we have completed 20 years of signing those agreements. South Africa is a rainbow nation of at least 9 Africans, 3 Asians, and nearly half a dozen European culture. It has produced 7 Nobel Prize winners. It has always opened for business in every conceivable economic sector with a stable democratic government. It is also known as haven for investor because of its sound, strong, transparent banking sector. There exist about 1.5 million Indians in South Africa. They are mainly from Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Bihar, and UP. India's relation with South Africa are historic and very cordial. In 1994, we established our first diplomatic office in South Africa. India is South Africa's 5th largest export destination and 4th largest import origin, and is the 2nd largest trading partner in Asia. Both countries are working to boost trade volume in the coming year. The bilateral trade between India and South Africa has crossed 4,176.60 million, and both countries set a target of doubling bilateral trade and investment of $20 billion by 2021. As per the PwC report, which was established in May 2018, has informed that around 140 Indian companies have invested close to $4 billion in South Africa, thereby creating a direct employment for over 18,000 people. The leading Indian companies Coal India, Cipla, HCL Technology, Tata Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, Vedanta. From South Africa, we have who have invested in India are Sasol, First Rand Bank, Old Mutual, AXA, ShopRite, and Nando's. Now about the speaker, ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency Madam Andrea. On 17 December 2019, she assumed her position as the Consul General of South Africa in Mumbai with the Consular District of Maharashtra. Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Goa, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Telangana. She joined the South African Diplomatic Service in February 1991. Madam has served in various capacities in the Department of International Relations, cooperation including the Private Secretary to the Deputy Minister of International Relations, and cooperation from 1998 to 2008. Prior to her deployment to India, she was the Director, South and Central Asia. Previous assignments abroad included the South African Consulate General in New York, US, the South African Embassy in Berlin, Germany. Madam is graduated in the University in South Africa with a law degree. As I've already mentioned that today is the day when we have followed the footsteps of our Honorable Prime Minister and have tried to do support Digital India venture, and we have also brought out a digital supplement on South Africa as well. And it is my profound privilege to inform that this will be the first digital supplement we'll be launching today. So before I invite Her Excellency, we would like to show you the video on South Africa first.
Thank you very much. And at the outset, may I also join my esteemed colleague, the Consul General of Ethiopia, to thank the Indo-Africa Chamber of Commerce and Industry for this opportunity, for arranging this web seminar. We really do appreciate the work that you've done, and we hope that today is the start of many others. And we do look forward also to contribute and be part of all those future events that are being planned. I also want to thank your team. I think it's very important to recognize the work that you do to make sure that Africa remains on the agenda in India. There's so many conflicting and competing agendas, and we do appreciate the hard work that goes into making sure that the Indian private sector recognize the enormous opportunities and potential that is available to them looking at the African continent. Governments around the world at this time are focusing on socio-economic strategies to overcome the outfall and the consequences of the COVID-19 epidemic. And they are looking for opportunities for sustainable recovery and long-term economic growth. Although today we're focusing on India, South Africa and Ethiopia, this pandemic has made us acutely aware that we live in a world that's interlinked. And we have to find solutions that are universal, but also that we have to work with our partners. And India and Africa has got an established relationship, a historic relationship, and it's a partnership that's based on equals. South Africa therefore values its partnership with India, and this partnership that has been forged and has now translated into a dynamic relationship with both political and economic level. Bilateral relations are managed in two formal structures. The one is senior officials level that meets annually, and the second one is at the ministerial level, the Joint Ministerial Commission. And both of these structures have a dedicated commission that deals with trade and investment, making sure that we also bring our private sector into this formal dialogue, this political level dialogue, and remove obstacles and address issues to make sure that we can enhance the economic relationships between the two countries. The relations are thriving, which was also evident in the 10th round of the Joint Ministerial Commission that was held in January 2020 in New Delhi, co-chaired by South Africa's Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Minister Naledi Pandor, together with her co-chair, the Minister of External Affairs of India, Dr. Jai Shankar. During this meeting, key sectors were identified to enhance cooperation between South Africa and India, which included infrastructure, the automotive sector, pharmaceuticals, agro-processing, and energy. It was further agreed that the scope to grow trade volumes between our two countries was considerable. This meeting was also important as it comes after the very successful state visit that was paid by President Ramaphosa to India in January 2019. He was invited and had the honor of being the chief guest at India's Republic Day celebrations in January 2019. During the state visit, a 3-year strategic cooperation, program of cooperation was signed between the two countries that highlighted dedicated targets and measures and sectors on where we can increase cooperation between the two countries. We also have to remember the very successful visit by Prime Minister Modi to South Africa in 2016, and there's also been subsequent visits with the attendance of the BRICS summits that was hosted by both South Africa and India in the recent years. Many hundreds of agreements and memorandum of understanding have been signed between South Africa and India. That is a formal framework for us to cooperate and also elevate relations. The last one being agreement on visa simplification for travelers in certain categories that was signed in January 2020 during the Joint Ministerial Commission. We are confident that this will also now deal with challenges that the business community in India had with visas-related issues in South Africa. And we also sure that this will be an impetus to grow the tourism sector, which we still believe has huge potential for both our countries to grow. And of course, we will pay special attention to this after we've done with the outfall of the COVID pandemic. South Africa, like the rest of the world, has not been spared by the economic devastation of the COVID-19, and the disruptions caused globally has also impacted on the South African economy and has also shown our own economic vulnerabilities. President Ramaphosa has announced several relief measures and a financial package of about 500 billion rands, which if you translate it, it's about $30 billion to mitigate the outfall of the COVID crisis in order to achieve sustainable recovery and long-term inclusive economic growth. He also announced an ambitious sustainable infrastructure program and together with the private sector have announced that new investments will be made in several sectors. And these include energy, water and sanitation, roads and bridges, human settlements, health and education, digital infrastructure, and public transport. These are some significant job creation multipliers and include an integrated resource plan to see the expansion of industrialization to also accelerate international trade. I also have to mention that South Africa's financial system during this period of time has remained relatively resilient despite the challenges that we face. South Africa, therefore, remains a favorable investment destination. My colleague, Dean Hoff, our Trade Commissioner at the Consulate, will speak in more detail about the incentives that South Africa offers the Indian investor, as well as the specific sectors that we've identified. So I'm not going to elaborate too much on this, just to say you are most welcome. South Africa, of course, is the current chair of the African Union for the year 2020, and under the leadership of President Ramaphosa, is leading also the response of the continent in dealing with the crisis. Working very closely with the African Commission, the AU Bureau, and the leaders of the regional economic communities, they are ensuring that there's a well-coordinated approach, also underpinned by the sentiment of Pan-Africanism in response to this crisis. One of these initiatives that also I wish to mention is that of the creation of an Africa Medical Supplies Forum or platform. It is an online mechanism that enables the procurement, the coordination, and the distribution of COVID-19 medical supplies to African Union countries. Of course, for the African Union, this year would have been the launch of the African Continental Free Trade Area. I know my esteemed colleague also referred to that. Unfortunately, the launch was planned for the 1st of July. We had, unfortunately, to postpone that. But this African Free Trade Area will fast-track Africa's integration. 54 countries will merge into a single market of 1.3 billion people with a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion US dollars. The agreement will also ensure that the African continent becomes part of the global supply chain, global value chain. And we look forward also to working with our Indian partners to see what are the opportunities to be gained from the conclusion of this agreement. And I'm sure there's a lot of work for us left to do in future, as I'm sure you will agree, as the Consul General has also mentioned. This is a game changer for relations between Africa and India. We therefore also look forward to the next round of the India-Africa Forum Summit, because we believe this is an important instrument also to work towards reaching the ambitious goals of the Agenda 2063, the development plan for Africa. I'm now going to hand over to Dean, who is going to take you through the incentives and specifically the sectors that we've identified for investment opportunities in Africa.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to begin by welcoming you to the presentation on South Africa and also thank the Chamber for the opportunity. South Africa has approximately 59 million people. We are a vibrant democracy, as it's been mentioned, and I think we are a preferred destination for investment and trade on the African continent. Besides our market of 59 million people, we have trade agreements and free trade areas with other regions on the African continent and globally with Europe and the US, which greatly expands our potential markets. In terms of inflation, it's been relatively low in South Africa. We have a target of 3 to 6%, which we are well within, taking into account the current period we find ourselves in. We have over 180 of the Forbes top 500 companies in the world invested in South Africa. you'll be able to see on the screen that there's many of the well-known brands that you're used to: Procter & Gamble, Bosch, Hitachi, Siemens, Volkswagen, Ford, etc. And underpinning all of this is a vibrant labor force. We have 200,000 university graduates each year that are able to enter into the labor force. The minimum wage is approximately 90 rupees per hour, which makes South Africa very competitive and accessible. So if we had to compare the South African currency to the Indian currency, you'll find that the rand is stronger. 1 rand is equal to 4.5 rupees. To put it in the Big Mac terms, a Big Mac meal of a burger, Coke, and chips would cost you approximately 160 rupees in South Africa. We offer special economic zones that are targeted to specific sectors to enhance our investment offering. If you cast your eyes, for example, to the top left of the screen, you'll see an area there called Uppington. There we're looking at a green hub. If you look further towards the bottom of the screen, a province called the Western Cape, you'll see that there are 2 special economic zones that are identified there. The one being the Atlantis Green Tech, which will focus on green technology and manufacturing. And the one below that, Saldanha, is focused on the oil and gas. So in terms of our offering, we are looking at establishing ourselves as a oil and gas servicing hub. This does not take into account the potential of our own West Coast for oil and gas exploration. Recently, Total has announced a significant play off the coast of South Africa that in time we hope will lead to self-sufficiency in oil and gas. And associated with that would be the opportunities that we would welcome in terms of investors coming in for steel fabrication, services to support that sector. We know that India is well established in the oil and gas, and we hope to engage further on that issue as the play starts to open up. Other interesting potential special economic zones of key interest would be, for example, the Dubai trade port, where already we have the presence of CIPLA. This is for light manufacturing. We also have one more on the coast in the same province of KwaZulu-Natal called Richards Bay, which is looking at industrial, agro-processing, chemicals sectors where many opportunities exist. Associated with these special economic zones would be a suite of incentives, one being a preferential corporate tax rate upon approval for those companies that qualify. We also have value-added tax and customs duty suspension. We have employment incentives, building allowance, and preferential land rental and utility rates. Indian investment, as mentioned earlier, is quite expansive in South Africa. It covers numerous sectors. Some of the key sectors where Indian business has invested would be sales, marketing, manufacturing, business services, electricity. You do have corporate headquarters for many Indian companies looking into the African continent. And you can see from the screen that each year investment has been robust. So for example, in the last year that's just passed, the average investment in South Africa was 408 million rand. We had 2 investment projects there. And on the right of the screen, you'll see some of the key Indian investments that have taken place in South Africa. The list is however, not extensive, as this excludes the likes of Tata, who's present in South Africa through the automotive unit, TCS, IT, and also key investors like Vedanta, who are developing one of South Africa's most modern and largest mines in the Northern Cape province. Some of the sectors that we feel that are quite relevant and important to highlight in India will be discussed here today. The first, I think, that's of common interest would be the automotive sector. And in terms of the automotive sector, we limit ourselves not only to automotives and passenger vehicles, but we look at automotive components, yellow metals, heavy vehicles, those dump trucks, the trucks that would be working on the mines. And this is where the opportunity actually arises. In terms of procurement, the mines are expected to procure 70% of their procurement expenditure on mining and capital equipment. And this itself leads to rising demand for mining equipment in South Africa. And this is a legislative requirement where the mines are required to a mining charter to adhere to a level of economic empowerment. And we believe that this opportunity is one that we can confidently promote, because in terms of our capabilities, South African-based manufacturers can produce at least 60% of this. We're also supporting this opportunity would be our supplier proximity and ability to produce local content. Here we make reference specifically to the fact that there's over 500 tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 suppliers, which OEMs are able to procure from. In addition, we also have the market opportunity of over 1 billion consumers. So when we look at this opportunity, we're looking at taking advantage and leveraging of the agreements that South Africa has with the European Union, the US, and within Southern Africa. So maybe also just to touch on some of the stats that may be of interest to you, you'll see that this sector contributes about 7% to South Africa's overall GDP. Manufacturing itself is responsible for 4.4%, and the retail sector 2.5%. In 2018, over 550,000 vehicles were registered in South Africa. This number exceeds anywhere else on the continent, and 370,000 passenger vehicles of all varieties were sold in South Africa, which accounts for 40% of Africa's passenger vehicle market. And our exports globally, taking advantage of those before mentioned trade agreements, were equivalent to $12.9 billion. And in terms of production, South Africa produces approximately 33 billion rand, which is about just short of $2 billion worth of agricultural, mining, and construction equipment. You'll see that the picture on the right gives you quite an extensive graphic representation of all the components that go into a vehicle and the capability of South Africa. So you'll see that, for example, tires are manufactured, you have valves, you have different electronic components. So the capability truly is present in the country. And in terms of geographical representation, there are three key areas. You have the Eastern Cape, which hosts the likes of Volkswagen and Port Elizabeth, a city just outside of Uitenhage where VW is, hosts Isuzu, Ford, and investment also from Mercedes-Benz. In KwaZulu-Natal, you'll have Toyota, you also have MAN Trucks, and Mahindra will be present in the Dubai Trade City, which is the industrial development zone. Close to the heart of our economic activity in Johannesburg is our capital city called Pretoria. And around Pretoria, you'll have many of the other OEMs present, with the likes of Fiat, Volvo, BMW, Nissan, Tata, Iveco, Ford itself, Scania, etc. So the reasons why you should invest would be, again, that the value chain is extensive but not comprehensive. So opportunities therefore lie in providing engines, radiators, air conditioning, alarms, axles, body parts, ignitions, lighting equipment in the supply chain and forming part of South Africa's supply chain to the world. It's also important to note that in 2017, 7 major OEMs invested 8.2 billion rand in South Africa. And in 2018, the choice of passenger vehicles in South Africa, for example, is quite immense. We have 49 passenger car brands and 3,716 model derivatives which to choose from, which is probably the widest choice to market size in the world. In terms of government support, you'll find that there are numerous programs and schemes that government offers to help attract investment and support the sector. The first being would be government support programs such as the South African Automotive Master Plan, which is a strategy up to 2035. It takes into account our ambitions and the capabilities that we do have, and shows commitment that government is serious about the sector. We have national incentive programs such as volume assembly allowance. This is more for your OEMs, your automotive investment scheme, your automotive investment scheme for commercial vehicles, your people carrier. We also provide support for innovation. This support comes in the form of a technology and human resource industry program. And we also have a CEDA program for technology transfer. And we have the Technology Innovation Agency of South Africa, which also looks at helping to promote and stimulate technology innovation. We believe that skills is vitally important in the promotion and support of all of our sectors. And as such, the South African universities and vocational and educational colleges offer courses in association with industry, where we help to make sure that the right skill is available to support your endeavors. The next important sector that I feel we should highlight is agro-processing. Agro-processing constitutes 23% of South Africa's manufacturing output. We are very active across and dominant in certain categories of, for example, agricultural production. We are the #1 producer of maize on the continent and globally #9. We are #1 for macadamia nuts globally and on the continent. We're a large producer of apples, of sugarcane, of grapes, of lemons, oranges, and also chicken. Our products are supported by an extensive and comprehensive value chain. In terms of what is grown where in the country, you'll find that different areas of the country have different clusters. For example, in KwaZulu-Natal, you find that sugarcane is quite an extensive crop there. You'll find that in the Western Cape, for example, wine and grapes is one of the key activities in that particular province of South Africa. And you'll find maize, for example, being grown extensively in the Free State. So supporting this, as mentioned, is our sophisticated and competitive agro-processing industry. The food and beverage sector was also one of the best performing manufacturing sectors over the last 5 years in South Africa, growing from almost 400 billion rand to 537 billion rand in 2018. So you'll find in the last 4 years that there's almost a 40% increase. The opportunities for this sector are also quite immense and broad, from your food-based opportunities, which include fruit and vegetable canning, your subtropical and tropical fruit juice processing, oilseed production, expansion of dairies, bakeries, indigenous meat plants. We also have non-food-based opportunities. So examples would be extracting high-value additives, non-edible oil processing, commercial planting of indigenous products or crops for feedstock, or also for the biofuel sector, flax production, and also inputs that would go into herbal products to fight, for example, malaria. And in terms of support programs, again, we offer national support. We have an agro-processing support scheme. We have the National Agro-Processing Forum. We have a National Agricultural Marketing Council that helps to give advice and support. And in terms of financial support, we have a developmental bank called the Industrial Development Corporation of South Africa, which has a specific unit that looks at investing in agro-processing businesses. And you also have the Land Bank, which helps to finance agricultural activities as well. The other important sector, I think, which many Indians would associate with South Africa is pharmaceuticals. South Africa has one of the largest and most sophisticated pharmaceutical and medical device sectors on the continent. We have seen that sales over the last 10 years have doubled and are expected to continue to increase. The country also has advanced manufacturing capabilities, biotechnology manufacturing facilities, and strong R&D capabilities in our medical sector. South Africa is also is also the only South African development community country that meets the WHO's manufacturing practice standards, positioning South Africa as a gateway into the African market for manufacturing of pharmaceutical products. And as mentioned, we expect sales to increase by 40% in the next 5 years. This will be driven by your lifestyle diseases, medication for hypertension, diabetes, obesity, and we're also seeing a rise in the demand for generic drugs and antiretroviral treatment programs. So touching on the opportunities and where we'd like to encourage you to focus would be on the manufacturing of these and supply of these medical drugs for the diseases tuberculosis, HIV, malaria, diabetes, the lifestyle diseases. And the opportunity exists also to develop and manufacture active pharmaceutical ingredients. I think this has become even more topical now with the onset of COVID and the reliance on particular countries for APIs. We also see development and manufacturing of generics as an opportunity, manufacturing of biological-based drugs, medical consumables is another key area, biotechnology and nanotechnology, and the processing of cannabis oil, which is another huge area of international growth that we've recently seen as the market starts to liberalize and countries allow activities in that sector globally. In terms of support, we offer financial support, we offer regulatory advice, we have R&D support, and we have industrial clusters that help to facilitate investment and support you in terms of the supply chain. So in terms of financial support, we also have the aforementioned Industrial Development Corporation, our DFI, that has a unit that looks at funding the industry and project development. You also have the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, which offers the Technology and Human Resources for Industry program. The regulations within the sector are undertaken by the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority, and R&D is always encouraged. We also have institutions such as our Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, providing technical support, including testing facilities to small and medium enterprises for the development of medical products. And as mentioned, and you would clearly see on the map on the right, we have identified clusters where manufacturing and R&D can take place across the country, in the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Gauteng, and KwaZulu-Natal. Maybe just to reassure you of our commitment to investment is the fact that we have established a one-stop shop for investment through Invest SA, which has a MOU with Invest India to support Indian investors looking to enter into South Africa. And some of the services that we would provide would be to facilitate the entire investment value chain. So by this, what we refer to specifically would be the coordinate effectively across the various government departments. So we would communicate services to current and potential investors, act as a facilitation window of clearance for registration, licensing, and permits with those other government departments that would be relevant. We will provide you with relevant information and support on the, for example, on the incentive schemes, on our visa requirements, and we'd also help you with the aspects of company registration, advise you on what work we're doing as a country to improve our investment climate and how we are tackling our rating on the ease of doing business to make South Africa a friendlier and more conducive investment environment. Some of the key institutions that we deal with from the Invest SA perspective would be the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission and their associated services, We would also facilitate interactions to the Unemployment Insurance Fund, which is administered by the Department of Labor. We would help you with environmental impact assessment and facilitation. We would facilitate introductions to our revenue service. We're also responsible for customs, to the Department of Minerals for mining permits, and different relevant agencies such as the Bureau of Standards or the NRCS, look at technical standards, and ITAC, who deal with issues such as duties and anti-dumping. And besides those national departments, there's also municipal facilitation at the municipality level, introduction to state-owned enterprises, who also play a very important role in the South African economy. By way of example, Transnet is the authority responsible for our rail infrastructure and our port infrastructure. And besides that, we also look at promoting South Africa through investment promotion and international investment missions. So I think the platform is there. We encourage companies across all sectors, not only the sectors that we've mentioned today. We just thought those were some of the key sectors we would like to highlight. To please contact us and work through the chamber. We're at your disposal to facilitate, to provide information, and to help you with your investment into South Africa and into the rest of the African continent. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. I think you gave us a very good overview and also highlighted the opportunities available. I'm going to keep Dean's contact details up so that the viewers can note them down and follow up on questions that they still have. In conclusion, I also just cannot leave you without mentioning the excellent relations that exist between the people of India and South Africa. Dr. Rajendra, you mentioned that earlier. We share two of the world's icons in Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi, and we treasure the relations that are existing between us. In this regard, I also therefore want to invite all of the viewers and also the members of the Chamber to join us on 18 July when we celebrate International Nelson Mandela Day. In 2009, the United Nations declared the 18th of July as International Nelson Mandela Day in recognition of the work that he's done in serving his community, and also to recognize the work that he's done internationally in peacekeeping and all those other important work that he's done. We ask each and everyone to donate 67 minutes of their time to bring positive change to your community. Nelson Mandela always said the power lies in all of us to bring change, and it starts with us. And the 67 minutes are for the active years that he served to bring positive change to the world. So please join us, not only on the 18th of July. The theme this year is to make every day Nelson Mandela Day. So I want to end also with that invitation to all of your members. And finally, to say it also gives me great pleasure to announce the launch of the digital supplement. And thank you specifically, Dr. Rajendra, for the wonderful work and the initiative and very late hours and your patience. We're really very excited and very honored to be part of this project and also to be part of the first supplement. So thank you.
Good evening, friends. I am Sumit Govind Sharma, a proud committee member of the Chamber and also CEO of Group MRP India Private Limited. I, on behalf of the Chamber, would like to extend our sincere gratitude and thanks to His Excellency Dameke Atnafu Ambulo, the Consulate General of Ethiopia, and Her Excellency Andrea Khan, the Consul General South Africa, for the excellent presentations and providing us with the detailed insights on Ethiopia and South Africa respectively. We are confident that the expertise and experience will help all of us. We are also thankful to the Secretary General of Indo-African Chamber of Commerce, Madam Sunanda Rajendran, for her valued guidance, her encouraging, motivating, last but not the least, all the diplomats, excellencies, and the IACCI team, all our viewers and participants for showering their love and affection and showing tremendous confidence in us and giving us this gigantic support. This provides us with the strength, the confidence, and the motivation to get such eminent speakers to give us their valued inputs in making our webinars a great success. On behalf of the Chamber, we would like to thank the entire team of Group MRP India Private Limited to help us successfully conduct the webinars and successful launch of the digital supplements. Our next webinar is on the 23rd of July, 2020. The topic is doing business with Saudi Arabia. The guest of honor would be Ambassador Dr. Asif Saeed. On behalf of the Chamber, once again, we are thankful and grateful for all your support. Thanking you. Have a great day.